So the controlled argument, false concepts used for this tactic is, of course, only approved narratives are allowed. When you look in the controlled media, whether it's left or right, there's only acceptable narratives. The fact that we are facing a conspiracy, for example, is not accepted as not one of the accepted narratives. It's always about those darn leftists or those rhinos. It's never the fact that there's an actual conspiracy working to destroy liberty. We have the straw man argument, and we have false choices. So these are the three that we're going to get into right now, explaining what that means, the approved narratives. An example of an approved narrative, right? We have these individuals who are the choices that are presented to us. These are the acceptable narratives. We have scientific consensus. The Earth's climate is warming. And we have experts agree that the Inflation Reduction Act accomplishes a lot for small business and working families. And then you get into the opposite, false opposition, left and right with that. And so this gets you into your corners of left versus right. If we don't support this, the Democrats are going to go off the deep end. And so we've got to support whatever the Republicans are doing to stop these things like the Inflation Reduction Act or the conservative solution to climate change. And so it makes it look like the actual conclusion is legitimate. It's just the way that we get there is where the debate is. And so that third option of no, the conclusion, what this is based on is a complete fraud to begin with. The third option. We also have the straw man, the controlled argument, and this attempts to distract from and discredit an opponent's beliefs by presenting them in an unfair and actually an inaccurate light. So to illustrate this, we have a little cartoon here, a little comic that lays this out, where you have the first individual saying, you want to go get some hamburgers? Straw man says, could we get some pizza? So the reaction, the straw man, is, what? You're saying that we should only ever eat pizza? That we should just burn down all hamburger stores? No, it's a very inaccurate representation of what I said. Right, because you didn't want hamburgers that one time. The straw man is you never want hamburgers for the rest of your life, and that we need to destroy anybody that sells hamburgers. And so that's an example of a straw man argument that is used by the conspiracy to discredit individuals. They'll say something like, if there's a conspiracy, they're going to say, oh, you think everyone's a conspirator, as opposed, instead of saying, well, of course there are conspiracies. That's just a fact. They want to discredit the idea that a conspiracy even exists by making it look like you think everybody is a conspirator. Then we have false choices, the argument using purposefully hidden assumptions to control others' perceived options. They frame the debate to offer a narrowed set of options when in fact, other and of course better ways actually exist. And often the choices are marketed as opposing, but are not significantly different. They accept the premise and they're just arguing on how to get to that end premise, right? And so we have examples of how are you going to protect yourself from the coronavirus? And I'm not a lawyer. I can't answer your question about legislation, said the legislator that's writing the bill. If you don't vote Republican, the Democrats will win. Are you voting Republican or Democrat? These false choices that are out there. So the false choices, Republican versus Democrat, right? Of course, if you don't vote Republican, the Democrats are going to win. It's a false choice, not recognizing that they're both on the same team. Of course, the conspiracy is going to approve that narrative. Ivermectin versus the vaccine. How are we going to fight COVID, right? Well, the fact that they're both agreeing that COVID's a problem as opposed to the flu, and there was no actually increased deaths. So there's no reason to treat the situation any differently than you normally would, but they want to make it about the COVID is legitimate. And so are you going to get vaccinated, or are you going to get the ivermectin or something else? It's still the preconceived notion that the coronavirus is a real problem. And of course, the conspiracy is going to approve this argument because it makes everybody agree on the narrative. So then we also have false choices. Capitalism isn't working. You have stop the steal, my body, my choice, how vaccine foes co-opted the abortion rallying cry. You have children, protect children, not guns, my body, my choice. And so all of these different things out there where they have these fake arguments where if you're against abortion, if you're in support of life, that means you're not in favor of choice or you're not in favor of agency. et cetera. And so, if you like the Second Amendment, you want to protect your family, you want to protect your children, that means you're against children. And so they have these false choices out there.